Good morning, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Thanks for tuning in. We have lots of Manitoba-grown vegetables available right now. Here's a quick Manitoba crop update. Manitoba-grown beets, broccoli, kale, leeks, cauliflower, parsnips, green, red, and Savoy cabbage, carrots, red onions, shallots, green and jalapeno peppers, various winter squashes, and red, russet, and yellow flesh potatoes are all now available at your store. Now, that's quite a list. This is a great time of year. So a few crops are winding down, but all these are going strong. And cooking onions and pumpkins will be coming off the field shortly. Now, here's a heads up for you. I don't know for sure, but I think there's going to be a bit of a pumpkin shortage this year. The crop didn't have a real good year for us, at least, so you might want to get your pumpkins sooner versus later. When you visit your local store, please support locally grown products. And as always, if it says Peak of the Market on the label, you're guaranteed it is grown right here in Manitoba. My guest this morning is our old friend, Dave Shambrock, Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors Association. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Larry.
How you doing?
I'm great, and thanks for having me back. It's a pleasure.
Well, I know you listen to the show because you talk about it with us, and I know you've watched it on MyToba.ca, the TV version of the show, so you know how it all works. So the guest at the beginning of the show has to name all the alphabetically the vegetables that are currently available. If you could do that, that would be surprising to both of you. Okay. Thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
So you've been on the show before. And we've talked about the Manitoba food processors, and you're also very involved in the Buy Manitoba program.
Right.
And you have some new awards coming up that let's save that for the second segment.
All right.
Because that's exciting when you want people to get involved in that. But let's explain for those that may not know, what is the Manitoba Food Processor Association?
Okay. The Manitoba Food Processors Association, industry trade organization, we work on behalf of the entire industry. So our job, first of all, we're not for profit. So our job is to work and create programs and solutions to some of the issues that are maybe impeding the industry. So sometimes that means we put together programs that are funded by a government department or agency. Sometimes it means putting training programs on, and sometimes it means being the facilitator of some consultations, and that's something we're involved in right now with the provincial government, working with them.
So industry association. Now, the one thing I've always said, it's called the Manitoba Food Processors Association, and I'm not really a food processor. I don't consider myself necessarily a food processor being in fresh vegetables, but that covers a wide array of industries, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about that on the way over here. Peak of the market. I mean, you guys are all about fresh veggies, absolutely. But you add an incredible amount of value to the product before it gets to the consumer, right? It's cleaned, it's graded, it's sorted, it's packaged, and then distributed, right? And you guys do that very efficiently. So in my world, Larry, you're a processor. But you're right. Processing runs the range from products like yours to bottled water or to frozen gourmet pizzas and everything in between. And the really interesting thing about the Manitoba industry is we've got companies in all of those product categories.
The university in Brandon came out with a report recently about talking about rural development and everything else. And they say the future, this is the professor or whoever did the study, but I can't quote them because I don't have it handy, but they said the future is the small processors. It's not going to be so much the big people that are going to create jobs, that are going to keep prospering. Do you agree with that?
You know what? Both parts of the industry are really important. But where I see the real growth, you're absolutely right. It's the small companies, the entrepreneurs. A lot of them are from rural Manitoba, which is exciting. And those are the ones that, it's really neat when a small entrepreneur can put together a 5 and 10 person company in their community and suddenly create those 10 jobs. And of course, as you know, as well as anybody, it's those initial 10 jobs, but then it's all of the other jobs that are created in other businesses that supply and products and services to those that first 10 jobs. So the multiplier effect for food manufacturing in our province in terms of the job creation and the economic development is amazing.
Now, I don't want to make myself sound like an old person here, but has the internet changed business in rural Manitoba, rural Canada in general? Has that leveled the playing field in some ways, or?
That's a really interesting question. I would say the answer is yes, in the sense that companies, as long as you have internet access, you have access to information, right? The tricky part is figuring out which of that information is good information and which of it maybe isn't. So, in terms of the work we're doing with industry, and especially the small companies and entrepreneurs, yeah, we rely on internet resources, but you know what? There's nothing like that person-to-person mentoring and coaching that we do through some of our programs that make a big difference.
And how many members do you have?
We have 280 member companies right
now. That's a fair size of an association. I mean, that's a good size.
Yeah, it's something we're really proud of, and we grew rapidly. And what's happening right now? There's a lot of consolidation in the industry. So sometimes companies are buying each other out and that kind of thing. But again, where we're seeing the growth is 1 and 2 person startup operations. With the really neat thing there is that a lot of times these folks have some really different, unique kind of products, and so that's where we're seeing the growth in the industry right now, and our membership.
And your membership, and I've been involved in lots of associations, and the ratio of food processors in Manitoba to your membership, I think, is quite high. I mean, if you look at that number, that seems quite high to me anyway. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Buy Manitoba program in the next segment, and I think that's really exciting. And I know you're coming up to year 3 on that?
Larry, year 5.
Year 5 on that?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Year 5, right? Year 3 where I've been a little behind the times. But we're going to save that for the next segment. You can correct me again in the next segment. We'll be right back with Dave Shambrock, Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors, after we take this break for your 680 CJOB weather update. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on MyToba.ca later this weekend. If you want to see the TV version of this show or previous shows, please visit MyToba.ca. Thanks to 680 CJOB's Nicole, who produces the show, and Chad, who operates the camera, as well as the teachers of the Broadcasting and Media Arts program at Tech-Voc High School. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com and at the iTunes Store. So do me a favor. Do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at MyToba.ca or SoundCloud.com or iTunes, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. It's very important for me to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers, so please make sure you listen to 680 CJOB or listen live at cjob.com. We're back with David Shambrock, Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors Association. So before the break, we talked about Buy Manitoba, and I said I didn't think it had been around as many years as what it is. So the Buy Manitoba, which encourages Manitobans, or I guess highlights. Well, you tell me what Buy Manitoba is.
Okay. First of all, I didn't want to embarrass you there, Larry, but
you did.
It actually been 5 years, but the first year of the program was a one-day year in terms of the government funding that we were working with. Okay, so we're both okay. So what's it all about? I mean, the thinking behind this program goes back literally 6 and 8 years, where the eat local, buy local kind of trend was really starting off. And we, as the industry group that's supposed to be on top of these things, worked with the provincial government and said, you know what, there's a real opportunity here to increase sales. But all of the studies said that consumers really are challenged when they go into grocery stores or into restaurants to know which products on the menu or on the shelf are indeed local. So the whole idea behind the program was to create this identifier, this brand image that we've developed and make available to the companies that are in the program. And certainly also to the food retailers, the grocery stores, and restaurants that want to get involved as well. So that's really that was the start of it. It was this creating this brand awareness, and now the really neat thing is working with more companies and more institutions that really want to get behind the eating local craze. So we're excited about that.
And it is a craze. There's no question about it. People want to buy local. They want to support local. They understand the spin-off of supporting local companies and all the other jobs it creates and service companies and retailers, etc. But the biggest challenge, and I'm just reiterating what you've said, but you've done a survey, and I've read surveys right across North America say the exact same thing. People want to support local, but they don't really know what's local.
You're right. And the other part, Larry, is that local means very different things to different people. Now, I'm not saying this just because you're into the vegetable business, but for some people, local food really only matters if it's fresh product that hasn't been processed. where they can, kind of meet the farmer, whether it's in a small grocery store or at a farmer's market, through to the other people that understand that local food is also about the product that's been value added or transformed, right? Where Manitoba commodities are processed into, the grocery items that we buy on the shelf. So it's really interesting when you talk to people, what local means to them. And the thing of it is, they're all right. Mm-hmm. There's no right or wrong here. And so the program tries to be flexible to that. So we really try to work with, I'm going to say, again, the smaller companies that sell at farmers markets, and that might be their main distribution point. And then we also work with some of the bigger processors, Peak of the Market, Granny's, Maple Leaf, and such, where we're in the grocery stores and doing a lot of different campaigns, again, to draw consumers' attention to the products on the shelf that are from Manitoba.
And I think the number one thing, this is my own opinion, the number one thing for a consumer is if they can identify what's local, then they can make a decision. You shouldn't support local just because. It's got to have a quality product. It's got to have a unique taste. Absolutely. It's got to be all those things as well. And I think Manitoba processors, and I'm using a general statement, have accomplished that.
You're right on both counts. We want people to try it, even if it's just, it's a local product, we'll try it for the first time. But, for repeat purchases, it has to be great quality. It has to have great value. It has to taste great. It has to be convenient to use, right? The packaging has to be the right kind of packaging. So it has to be all of those things, right? For sure. And I also agree with you. The companies that are in the program are doing a fabulous job on delivering on all of those points. Great products, great value, and a lot of them are really unique too. That's exciting.
So out of all your members that are involved in the Buy Manitoba program, who's the favorite product? I know you're not going to answer that. I'm just kidding. You wouldn't answer that.
Now, or is it a break time now?
But there's lots of unique products. Goes from pop to bottled water to obviously veggies to meats to there's quite a wide range of locally grown, locally produced products.
You're absolutely right, Larry. That's the one thing that makes Manitoba's agriculture and food industry really unique in the Canadian scene, really, is that we do have everything. Some of the other provinces, they have great products, but they might be focused more on meat products or small fruit products and that sort of thing. In Manitoba, it really does run the range of from bottled water to fruits and veggies and processed meats and confections, chocolates. We have 3 or 4 coffee roasters here in Manitoba that do a fabulous job of bringing in green beans from all over the world and roasting them right here and making some of the freshest, best coffee there is. So that's the exciting part too.
It's quite the range of products available for a fairly small population area when you think about it. We're isolated in some ways from major centers, and we're self-sustained in many ways with the amount of different food we have is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly right.
We'll be right back with Dave Shambrock, the Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors Association, after we take this break. Back to Food and Friends. It's time for our recipe segment called Now We're Cooking. You don't need to write this recipe down, as it's today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. So all the information is available on our website or today's Winnipeg Sun. Today's recipe is tofu veggies. Tofu veggies. And I was talking with our guest Dave Shambrock during the break there. He's not a big tofu fan on its own. So let's see what we're adding with it here. Here's what you need for the recipe. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. 1 large onion cut into wedges. For best results, use Manitoba grown onions. 3 medium carrots. Well, there we go again. 3 celery stalks sliced. 1/4 cup of small cabbage sliced thinly. 1 cup of snow peas trimmed. 1 cup of sliced mushrooms, 1 cup of firm tofu cubed, 1/2 cup of vegetable or chicken broth, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, as well as 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And that's why we put it in the newspaper and the website. That's a lot of information. In a heavy skillet, heat the oil over high heat. When the oil is very hot, add the onions, carrot, and celery. Then cover and steam for 5 minutes. Add the cabbage, snow peas, mushrooms, and tofu. Cover and steam for 5 minutes longer. In a small bowl, mix together the chicken broth, cornstarch, ginger, and pepper. Then pour over the vegetable mixture. Stir fry for 1 minute or until the sauce thickens, and then serve over hot rice. And this recipe serves 6. And you got quite a few vegetables in this with all the different ones, so it's a good Manitoba recipe. Again, tofu veggies is today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. And all the recipes on our website or in the newspaper have both metric and imperial measurements. We'll be right back with David Shambrock, Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors Association. After we take this break for your 680 CJOB news, sports, and weather, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Food and Friends. If you have children back in school, you know it's fundraising season has begun again. For all those involved in a school or daycare fundraising in some way, I wanted to tell you about the Farm to School Manitoba Healthy Choice Fundraiser. That's quite a mouthful. This fundraiser is open to all Manitoba schools, public or private, K-12, and all licensed daycare anywhere in Manitoba. Basically, the fundraiser works like this. The students sell bundles of Manitoba-grown peak-of-the-market vegetables to raise money for their school or daycare. It could be to raise money for a school band trip, sports tournament, new equipment. I heard about a group on Thursday that's doing it for humanitarian. I think they're donating to the Human Rights Museum. Bundle A has carrots, cooking onions, and red potatoes and sells for $10. Bundle B has larger packs of carrots and red potatoes and cooking onions, as well as green cabbage and parsnips, and it sells for $20. The great thing about this fundraiser is that the school or daycare keeps half the selling price, a 50% profit. Now, that's a great fundraiser. Not only is it healthy, it brings back some good money to the schools and daycare. Last year, this fundraiser raised over $400,000 for Manitoba schools and daycares. $400,000. And if you go over the 3+ years, there's a pilot year and 3 years after that, it's over $1.1 million the schools and daycares have kept. This fundraiser runs until December 12th and is open to any school or daycare anywhere in the province of Manitoba. If you're interested in getting more information on Farm to School Manitoba, just go to their website, which is MyToba.ca. That's MyToba.ca. Or you can go to peakmarket.com, and we have a link from there as well. We're back with David Shambrock, Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors Association. So, Dave, you know about the Farm to School Manitoba program because Buy Manitoba is one of our partners.
And proud to be that. And it's a real win-win relationship, if you will. But first, congratulations on what you guys have done with that. It sounds real simple just listening to you as you're describing it and how easy it is for the schools and such to get it. But I know how much work it is for you guys to put that together and the creativity behind it, right? And it's a really neat concept you guys came up with there. So we're proud to be part of it.
And it's great to be part of it. And the home economists, the Manitoba Association of Home Economists, are key in promoting it to the schools and getting it out. And Minister Blady from the Healthy Living and Seniors, that department's been key in helping the home economists, fund the home economists to get out there and do it. So there's a whole bunch of partners involved in here, and Buy Manitoba is one of those partners. And we appreciate it. It takes a lot of people to make this work.
It does, and again, like I said, it's a great partnership for us. It's being able to put some funds into it, but then getting the opportunity to put the Buy Manitoba brand or logo on the bags, right, is really great because for us it helps reinforce the message, right? These are peak of the market veggies, but it's Manitoba, and you know what? Here's this message: Buy Manitoba. Look for the logo in the stores. So it works well. And
with those bundles I described earlier that are $10 or $20, they all come with a reusable grocery shopping bag. On one side has a Peak logo, and the other side has a Buy Manitoba logo. So hopefully people use that, save on plastic bags, but also reminds them to look for local products.
Absolutely. Maybe next year Buy Manitoba will be on both sides of the bag. Who knows?
Well, we'll see. That's going to cost you more money. You got to fund more of the program to do that. But I was very proud, and I know you know about this, but on Thursday, the province of Manitoba did a proclamation, I think I said that right, that called it Local Veggie Day. And it's really quite neat. And for those watching on MyToba.ca, I'm holding up the certificate right now. It's neat that they gave this to the Home Economist, and I got a copy of it. But it talks about the importance of local, the importance of the Buy Manitoba program, the importance of the Home Economist. And I think really it talks about the importance of partnerships.
For sure, Larry. Again, congratulations on that. That doesn't happen that often, right? But it's also important that I think that the provincial government recognizes what all of this means to the local economy, right? And the jobs that come out of it and all the rest of it. So that's really important to have that piece of paper. It's not just a piece of paper, right? It's great.
We're very proud of it. The Buy Manitoba program that we talked about in the last half hour. Now it's in some retailers. It's certainly in Safeway in a big way, and you probably have some other retailers. But it's partly funded by government, but mostly by industry fund. Would that be correct? Or?
Right. Again, coming back to that partnership theme, it's roughly a 50-50 kind of contribution arrangement, and to me, that's the way it should be, right? We've got industry that's benefiting from this for sure, and then there's all the big spin-off benefits to the entire economy. But the way the initiatives work, our job is to create the opportunity, whether it's working with the Winnipeg Jets or with Safeway, as you mentioned. And then there's smaller portions where an individual company can get involved and get their brand and their logo and their product recognized, and there's a contribution required. So you kind of pay to play, but it really benefits startup companies and the small to medium-sized companies that can be part of a much bigger campaign and get involved in advertising promotional initiatives that on their own they would never be able to do it. So that's the mechanism, and that's the way it works.
And I personally don't think government should fund an entire program like that. If the industry is not interested in putting money into it, then it's not that important.
That's exactly right. There's a huge message there, and I totally agree with you. So all of the programs that we tend to operate with are like that. For every dollar or two that a government program puts on the table, our job is to get a matching dollar or two from a company.
And I think it's also government's role to take a program like that. There's other things out there too, but it's I don't know if you want to call it seed money. It's an investment in the industry. It's helping the industry pull together and come with a program. And the Buy Manitoba program, in my opinion, has done that. They put some money into it. The industry's put a lot of money into it, but it's getting that message out to the consumer and to retailers and to food service people that Buy Manitoba is important.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And this year in particular, we were joking around about year 4, year 5 of the program, but this year we've really noticed that a lot of organizations have come to us in the program and said, you know what, thanks for what we did last year. We want to expand. We want to get more local suppliers into our institution, into our eateries and that sort of thing. And that's fabulous. That's when you're having some positive impact, because that allows us to go to the companies and say, hey, you know what? Here's an opportunity that you might not have realized is out there, and here's how you get involved. And so really we're opening some doors for some new Manitoba companies. And, I would like to say that we were planning and expecting that for this year. We weren't, but we're just delighted how it's happening and how it's playing out now.
And kudos to you and your group for coming up with this program and working with the government to fund part of it. Right. And I'll go back to this part of it. But all governments at any municipal, or provincial, or federal level are under, watch what you're spending money on and restraint. Yeah. But you still have to make key investments in different industries. And you've managed to get the government on side with it to get the industry to pull together. And I think it's a great program.
Yeah, thanks. No, you're right. Fiscal restraint is important and all the rest of it. Agriculture and food processing are such an integral part of Manitoba's economy. I'm a little bit biased, there's no question about that, but I think it was a really good investment for the province to make.
We'll be right back with Dave Shambrock, the Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. I am really excited to announce that Peak of the Market now has a mobile recipe app. It is available free through Apple, Android, or BlackBerry World app stores, and even for the new iPhones that just came out. All you have to do is visit one of these sites and search for Peak Recipes. It's recipes at your fingertips. You can create a shopping list. You can add extra items to your shopping list. You can search it in a million different ways. And for every person that downloads the free Peak of the Market recipe app by October 31st, Peak of the Market growers will donate 20 pounds of fresh vegetables, up to 1 million pounds, to Winnipeg Harvest Food Bank. So not only are you going to get free recipes, and there's over 4,000 on the app, you're also going to be helping out those less fortunate by downloading it before the end of the month. To date, we've had over 1,000 downloads, so thank you very much. But for those of you who haven't done it on your iPad or your smartphones, please do. We're very excited about our new mobile app, and you're also helping out Winnipeg Harvest. We're back with Dave Shambrock, Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors Association. Dave, in the first segment, we talked about something new and exciting that I wanted to save. So the Manitoba Food Processors Taste Awards. So tell us about that.
Tell you about it. Thanks very much. Okay, so we've had the association has had an awards program for a number of years. It used to be called the Manitoba Food Processors Association Industry Excellence Awards. A little bit long, and it was a little bit too inward focused, if you will. Right? We were looking at companies doing some neat things in the industry, some great new products and all the rest of it. So as you need to keep things fresh, right? So as we brainstormed, how can we improve the program? We came up with a couple of new awards, and we really wanted to get the public involved in some way. So we changed the name of the awards to the Manitoba Taste Awards, but then we introduced an opportunity for consumers, Manitobans in general, to vote for some of their favorite food products and to recognize the grocery stores that they might go to that do a fabulous job, a really good job of having local products in the store. And the same for restaurants too. There's a lot of great restaurants, in Winnipeg and Manitoba that go out of their way, right, to make sure they feature local Manitoba everything on the menu. So we created a new category of awards called the Local Favorite Awards. And people can go to our website, which, if you let me plug that, it's www.mfpa.mb.ca. Right in the center of that of the homepage, they'll see the icon for the award, and they can go down there and place their vote for their favorite restaurant, their favorite grocery store, and their favorite Manitoba food products.
So the mfpa.mb.ca, you can do a Google search and find it as well. It's called the Manitoba Taste Awards. But this is unique. You're asking people to vote on a list that's there already, or are you asking them to submit or
submit their own ideas? And you know what? I can tell you, it's already been interesting. The products that have been. I'm not going to give you a heads up sort of thing, but it's already been interesting to see the variety of products that have been nominated.
Okay.
And it's not some are just not surprising. I mean, you spend a lot of time in the airport, right? And I do. And how many times do you see people walking through the airport with their carry-on luggage and a genie's birthday cake in a box, or a couple of loaves of city bread, or maybe a bag of carrots too? I'm not sure, right? So
that's what I see all the time.
That's what you see all the time. I know that. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that food is an incredibly important part of our culture and our society, right? And there's some iconic Manitoba foods that people, have to take back to their relatives, or they're taken to a family function, in Calgary, or wherever it's going to be. So we said, okay, so if that we know that's the case, so let people vote for them. Let people tell their little story. There's also a place where a window right beside where you vote for your favorite product, where if you want, you can tell a little story about why this product means so much to you and your family. So we're looking forward to that. We've had some really interesting nominations, as I say, already, and we think it's something that a lot of the companies will be really proud of to be recognized by people in Manitoba.
So mfpa.mb.ca, you go there, you'll see the Manitoba Taste Awards.
Yep.
You put in your favorite local restaurant or favorite food or whatever it may be, have an opportunity to share a story. Now, is there voting on these later, or is it you just taking all these nominations and looking at them? Or
okay, sorry, yeah, that's a good question. Thanks. I should have explained that. So basically, the most nominations is the winner.
Okay.
Right? And we tried to keep it simple, and we think that's the right way to start. We'll see. If we need to tweak it for next year, we will.
So the most nominations. So if people wanted to go there to, you talked about Genie's, Old Dutch Chips comes to mind. Lots of restaurants we've had on the show, vegetables perhaps. But you could nominate whoever you want on there, and then whoever the most nominations wins.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, it's there's lots of different products that we're seeing already.
Is there a category for your favorite radio show?
No.
Can we talk about that for next year, maybe?
We can talk about that for next year.
This is a great opportunity to recognize. I mean, certainly when you're in the industry, you recognize suppliers of the year. You used to do at least,
we
and
do
some
that,
other,
yeah.
Which is very much driven by the industry and who they're dealing with, or employees of the year. I think you had an award for that as well, right?
Yeah, and we still have all those as well. I just wanted to talk about the new ones, sort of thing. But yeah, everything from employer of the year. There's a lot of our companies that are fabulous at developing employees and training and that sort of thing. We also have the supplier, we're calling it an outstanding service award. Food manufacturing is so dependent on quality suppliers, whether it's packaging materials, trucking companies, label manufacturers, graphics artists, right, for that sort of thing.
Sure.
So we've got recognition for those, and this year we've got again a couple of new industry awards. One is innovation, right? It's the innovation award. Our industry is so dependent on the right kind of technology and cost structures that there's a lot of different approaches that companies are taking to innovation. So we want to recognize that, what companies are doing in the plant.
We'll be right back with Dave Shambrock for the Manitoba Food Processors after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please join me next Saturday when my guest will be Floyd Paris, the Executive Director at Siloam Mission. They do a lot of great work. Looking forward to getting an update from him. My guest today has been Dave Shambrock, the Executive Director of the Manitoba Food Processors Association. We're talking about the Manitoba Taste Awards. So the website they go to again is?
www.mfpa.mb.ca.
And they can nominate any local restaurant or food?
Food product that they're really excited about, or their favorite grocery store. And that could be one of the large chains or their corner grocery store that just does a great job of promoting local products.
And whoever's getting the most nominations is going to be the one that gets the award coming up in October. When's the deadline for people to do?
So Friday, September 26th.
So it's coming up fast.
It's coming up fast.
So go to mfpa.mb.ca. Thanks, Dave, for being on Food and Friends.
Pleasure, Larry.
Take care, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.